well guys, welcome back. I'm sitting here with Jason and Colin from Australian Pink Floyd. First I'd like to say welcome back to Miami. We're really excited to have you at the Fillmore.
It's great to be back.
Awesome. The first question I have for you guys is what prompted you guys to start a tribute band to Pink Floyd? Excuse me.
Well, I remember when we started, tribute bands were a new thing, and I hadn't even heard of the name tribute band. And I just went along to a music shop and I saw an advertisement in a music shop looking for a keyboard player and a vocalist or whatever. It was started by a guy in Australia many years ago called Pink Floyd fan, and I was a Pink Floyd fan, getting into the music, and I went along and met these other guys and we just started playing the music just for a bit of fun really. I had just a new synthesizer and it just seemed an interesting project to do, and so it just sort of happened as a sort of a hobby, something to do on the side.
And the gigs slowly came.
Yeah, then the gigs started to come on. You know, in the beginning wasn't very many, just a few, but they were really well received, and we just worked at what we did, and here we are 24 years later.
That's quite a run. Was Pink Floyd always your biggest influence, you would say, or it was just kind of what was at the time you felt, you know, let's start with this music, and then it kind of carried on?
Yeah, I think we were probably all influenced by a lot of bands at the time, you know, all the big sort of bands in the 70s that we grew up listening to, and pretty much anything we heard when we were growing up was an influence, like music that our parents played or music we heard on the radio. But Pink Floyd was definitely one of those, you know, big bands that were influential, and obviously being a Pink Floyd tribute band, that is obviously where, you know, we've studied Pink Floyd while we've been in this band. So, but you know, as musicians, I think we're influenced by, you know, a lot of different stuff, and you know, we listen to, even now we listen to a lot of different music as well.
I mean, I had sort of like a classical background, but my brothers would sit in their shed, they'd be singing along to Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, and, you know, all those classic bands, and, you know, so that's sort of where my background came from.
Were you ever covering other music as well besides Pink Floyd at that point in time, or was it strictly?
Not in this band, but we've all been in other bands where we played, you know, the typical bar band where you play one song by this band and a couple by this band, and you know, so we all had that sort of background before sort of getting ourselves into the Pink Floyd thing.
Cool. And speaking of other projects, have you guys branched off and done other musical works in the past 24 years, or this has really been the project that's kept you busy?
Yeah, I mean, there's been little sort of side projects from various members of the band along the way. I've done a little blues sort of rock thing with the drummer out of the band, Paul, and you know, just as a little sort of side thing for fun. But I mean, our time is so taken up with the Pink Floyd. I mean, we're touring all year. You know, we do, you know, over 100 shows a year all over the world. So it doesn't leave a lot of time for other projects. But you know, there are little side things that happen every now and again. Yeah.
Great. It seems we're in Miami. I don't know how much free time you guys get when you're here, but what would you say is your favorite part of the city?
Just basking in the sun, really. I mean, I was on my balcony. I thought the weather was great. It was just a great atmosphere.
It's I mean, we go so many places in the world, and sometimes places all merge into one, and they don't have anything about them that really stands out. But I mean, Miami does, because of all the Art Deco buildings and, you know, the palm trees, and it's kind of a cool place to see, and a cool place to tick off the list of places to go.
On the stops.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, we've actually had a ton of rain. This was one of the first nice sunny days.
We were here yesterday.
Yeah,
and it rained in the afternoon.
I thought, just in time with the rain.
I mean, it was hot as well.
But yeah, it wasn't cold and miserable. It still was actually quite pleasant.
It's always hot, no matter what month. Well, just to wrap it up, guys, I mean, if you weren't a professional musician, where do you think your life would have taken you, or what you would have got yourselves into?
Well, I mean, when I started the band, I was actually studying science at university, so I think I probably would have gone into some maybe biochemical sciences or something. That was what I was doing, but I got distracted, so I ended up doing this instead.
Music calls.
Yeah, I was a graphic artist, and I still do graphic design sort of stuff, you know, on the side, and for the band, you know, all the images that we use in the show and stuff. So I keep my hand in that way, but I guess that's what I would be doing, you know, if I wasn't a full-time musician.
Well guys, thank you so much for your time. I'm Kris Martin. We're here with Australian Pink Floyd and you're backstage at the Fillmore.